I want to ask you about one of those teams in particular, and that is the Giants, because you have them with the easiest strength of schedule this season after having the second most difficult one last year. And obviously, it's a pivotal year for Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley, both of them entering the final year of their contracts. This is a team that has not been over 500 at any point over the last 5 years. What are you anticipating out of them with this new regime?
Well, first of all, direction. First of all, intelligent scheming and play calling, understanding what really is valuable. I break it down in a lot of detail in the book, but the New York Giants, their prior regime, led by Joe Judge and Jason Garrett as the offensive coordinator, it was as if their philosophy on offense was to get into third and manageable. Let's just figure it out on third down. Let's just get into third and manageable and try to convert another series of downs. Brian Daboll has got the completely opposite opinion. Brian Daboll doesn't care about third downs. Brian Daboll is going to try to avoid third downs entirely. This offense is going to try to convert first downs on first and second down at a far higher rate than what the New York Giants were trying to do last season. Now, they may not have a ton of success doing it because this team isn't that great. Like the personnel on this roster aren't great. They're completely hamstrung by what Dave Gettleman has done for the last several years to this team. So there's a lot of things that I think this coaching staff is going to, especially the front office, is going to have to undo over the next couple of years. But I believe if the fan base in New York City, easier said than done, is patient with them, that they actually have the right objectives and the right plan of attack here, I think Brian Daboll is going to make life a lot easier on Daniel Jones. A lot of coaches, Jason Garrett included, thought that the way to win games with a quarterback that you don't have a lot of confidence in is to try not to get him to do as much. So you're going to try to run the ball at high rates on early downs, and you're going to hope that you can get in third and manageable and the quarterback can do whatever he wants there. But the key is that when you have a younger quarterback or a quarterback who's not as experienced or as talented, you need to lean even more into passing the ball on early down, specifically first down. And why is that? Well, that's the down that defense is going to be playing the run more than any other down out there. So you're going to get the best looks and the best situations and the less likelihood of blitzes on first down if you try to let your quarterback throw the ball a little bit more. And of course, we know what was going on up in Buffalo with Brian Daboll and how he was calling plays offensively there and their pass rate that they had. We also know that there was a point in time, because it bubbled up in the media twice after games, that there was some friction between Sean McDermott and Brian Daboll about their run rate and about the fact that Sean McDermott wanted the team to run more and Brian Daboll wanted the team to throw the football a little bit more. And if that much was bubbling out publicly by their head coach after games about the play calling and the offensive coordinator, you can only imagine what was going on behind the scenes there. Daboll doesn't have to worry about that right now. And I think the way that they're going to utilize Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley and some of their other weapons this season is going to be night and day different than what they've done in the past. You're absolutely right. These guys have a ton to prove, and they have no deals next season. And in some cases, for a coaching staff that has no ties to them at all, that actually is like a freedom that they have if you try to think of it in that direction. Because think about the Arizona Cardinals with Kyler Murray. You just gave this guy $160 million guaranteed, a $230 million contract. If he's limping around with his leg or something like that, or are you going to call as many run plays for him? Like, because you got to try to save him. We're seeing the same exact thing up in Buffalo now with their quarterback, Josh Allen. Their coach, Sean McDermott, came out and said, we don't want him to run the football quite as much this upcoming season, even though that was such a massive advantage. I think they're worried about mileage on him and getting hits and things of that nature. Well, Brian Daboll has none of those concerns with Saquon Barkley or with Daniel Jones. They can run Daniel Jones more than what they've been doing in the past and not worry about it. They've got no ties to this guy in the future. And if he goes down and the team doesn't do well, they'll just get a better draft pick next season. So there's some freedom there for Brian Daboll to call whatever he wants. And hopefully they're able to convince Daniel Jones, like, kid, there's no pressure on you. Like, you already have not exceeded expectations thus far. Just go out there and play freely. Play with the best. Think about this. Mike Shula and Jason Garrett are the only guys that have coached Daniel Jones in the pros. So now you got Brian Daboll and you got Mike Kafka, Patrick Mahomes, quarterback coach from Kansas City, a great offensive coach He's now their offensive coordinator. I mean, those two guys are going to make Daniel Jones look a hell of a lot better than Mike Shula and Jason Garrett did.
As someone who's from New York, I don't remember the last time we've had this much excitement for the future of the Giants. There just is. You could feel it here in the city with how the fans think of this coaching staff, and especially just the personnel staff after the last few years of just move after move that was just didn't make sense. You knew it was bad as soon as it happened, and the fans were proved right. And now we have somebody here who's tied together with the coach, and it looks like there's some normalcy coming here to New York, and they're just excited about that element alone here with the Giants.